Can we talk about this whole Facebook? I mean, we're always talking about Facebook, and but let's
Mark
Zuckerberg. Zuckerpunk, as I like to refer to him.
Putsy-berg.
So let's give the headline first, and then I want to dig into this for a minute. Okay, so if you have not heard us talk about this before, you are welcome to the program, because this is something that comes up all the time with us, whether it's data privacy, security, listening in, it's a frequent recurring theme, especially with Facebook, who's been caught doing with this kind of situation before, whether it's Cambridge Analytica or them just basically accessing more information than they're telling you they are. So we know that there were roughly 533 million Facebook users' phone numbers and personal data that have been leaked online.
Right.
Okay?
And this is not just obviously just not the U.S. This is over
it's the world.
106 countries. Including over 32 million records on users in the U.S. alone.
Yeah, so we think that the data is probably a year or two old. It was posted by somebody in a hacking forum. They like to do that stuff to show street cred, like, look how good I am. I got access to all this data. It's got biographical information. It's got email addresses. It's got full names. It's where you live. I mean, it's enough that potentially somebody could impersonate you. It could lead to identity theft, okay?
In some cases, they got the email addresses, and as you well know, if you're logging into something, in some cases, all you have to have is the email address, and it will kind of let you in. It's
So
scary.
I'll give you some advice on what to do here in a minute. But one of the comedic parts of this, and I love this. I freaking love this, because you had it coming, bro. You did. Zuckerberg's information was apparently, his phone number, among other things, was in the leak.
Yep. Yes,
and I want to
indeed.
know who looked it up and said, "Oh, look at all this hacked data. Well, let's just see if the CEO is in there, right?" And sure enough,
there he was. I mean, that's pretty bad. They say it is old data, like you said. It was previously reported in 2019.
But if it's phone numbers and email addresses, people don't change those every year. So, and even your physical mailing address, your residential info.
Yeah, but wonder why it took them so long to get and actually tell people this. I mean, I know why is it such a... I mean, I think that it would be in your best interest, if you're a tech company, that if you've been hacked and you've compromised your users and or your customers' information, that by law you should be bound to that.
So that's interesting, and I did not know you were going to go here, but that's a very timely question. Okay, so there's a company. This is going on right now. Okay, there's a company called Ubiquiti, and they make networking equipment, Wi-Fi access points, and so on. I own some of their equipment. Okay. First part of the year, January 2021, they came out and said, I'm going to paraphrase this, but basically they came out and said, hey, we think some people tried to get in, but we don't think it's anything to worry about. Doesn't look like they got anything. No big deal. Carry on. Right? Information has come out in the past week or two, Jay. So we're almost to the middle of 2021 now, that it was a much more massive breach than they let on. They made efforts to cover it up. Anyone in the organization that made an attempt to whistleblow that was met with fierce legal opposition from the Ubiquiti's legal team.
Unbelievable.
It is to the level they think that... Now, you have to remember, these are firewalls, routers, switches, access points, networking equipment. So it is and it's cloud driven. They forced everyone to the cloud. Facebook is a cloud platform. What does that mean? Well, instead of me logging into my firewall or my router directly, like just going to its IP address on my network and logging in, I go out to Ubiquiti's cloud service and I log back in, and then I hit the cloud. Well, if I've got that if I've got that login info because I'm a hacker, I don't have to be on your network to access your stuff. I can access your cloud site, right?
Right.
It's a front door right into your equipment.
It's front door, right. And that's how you'll hear Key talk about this all the time. If you are not changing your password on a weekly basis, or even
just
more frequent
regularly,
than that,
regularly, just not once a year. That's not a good idea.
Exactly. Okay. Then you're exposing yourself to potential identity theft and those sorts of things. And trust me, today it's more common than it ever has been. And I think that this is going to force some innovative changes in cybersecurity down the road. They're already working on it. The feds are already working on that sort of stuff. But it's just crazy, man. It's hacking stuff.
So the answer to your question is, why would they not make this more public? Well, I mean, they did announce that there was some stuff going on, but they didn't announce to the level of severity like this, right?
Right.
Well, because their stock prices will plummet, because their sales will take a hit. And ironically, by not doing the right thing up front. We talk about Ford doing recalls, right? Like Ford will go do these recalls, and it's like the third time we've heard of this F-150 being in this past 6 months having a recall. And you and I, Jay, on this show will sit here and go, ooh, it's got a little bit of a black eye for them, but you know what? They're stepping up and doing the right thing. Ultimately, they're trying to do the right thing. The downside to this in Ubiquity's case is there's a whole bunch of professionals like me right now that are going, because of how they've handled this, I don't trust them. And there's all these conversations right now of what's a comparable platform that I can switch to. I don't trust these guys anymore. Is there an alternative? And that's happening right now. So they were trying to protect their sales numbers. Yeah. Unfortunately, it backfired. And it's going to probably blow up worse on them by trying to cover it up.
Let me just kind of give you a quick comparison to it. This is really... You're playing with people's lives when you're not upfront in a quick manner saying, hey, we've been hacked and your information has been compromised.
And
you need to go freeze. You need to go freeze. Yeah.
They can take businesses down. In fact,
look,
twice it was leaked that the hackers tried to extort money via a ransom to Ubiquity over this data breach. Two times, and Ubiquity just went, nah.
Yeah, that's just
they can take your business down with this info.
Yeah, and again, it's like, let's just say Ford had, major problems with, like a Pinto, back end blowing up, getting rear-ended.
See,
that never
and we know, we know what happened there, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
This is the sort of thing you can't play with people's lives like this, and this is. Your lifeline to the world to even be successful whatsoever is your credit and your payment history, your records, and there's so many cases. And if you've never been through this with identity theft, where people will reach out to their investment company or their bank and say, hey, this has happened. The red tape that they have to go through and the years of recovery that they have to go through to get any sense of normalcy back is it's unbelievable. I can't imagine living on the edge like that and having so much anxiety about those situations. But that's what this stuff is all about. And that's why Facebook is why they're under such scrutiny and under fire.
I don't even think that's the real story here, okay? I think the real story here is, and nobody's talking about this, Jay, but I want to go where no one else is willing to go. We're here for the fans. I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask the tough questions.
Okay.
What's going on with this guy's hair? Is that not
he's not real.
He looks like a Bond villain, does he not, with that haircut?
Well, with the haircut and the eyes and everything, I'm telling you, man, he was put together in a factory. This guy,
it is creepy.
He's not
I'm
a real
waiting for him to
person.
show up with a white pussycat and the ring on the pinky and right.
He does look a little diabolical. You notice his eyes are black.
That haircut is not normal. This guy's got more money than God. Can he not afford people that are dude, that I'm not trying to be mean here, but it looks like they stuck a bowl on his head and just shaved around it. I mean,
he doesn't look normal to me, man.
It's not.
You remember Data from?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Data. And I've heard him speaking, or at least
would you not trust him a little more if you got a decent haircut?
Dude, if he grew a mustache, man, and just smiled every once in a while, with a beer in his hand, I might buy into it that he's a human. But I don't think he is.
Whew. All right.
Sorry,
asking
man.
the tough questions here, man.
Did we go there? Did we?
Yeah.
We did.
I can't. It's been bothering me for years. Like, dude, fix your haircut. It is not normal.